The Buga Sphere case from Colombia is now one of the most compelling we've seen within the last decade of the UFO-UAP phenomenon. Many feel that it may have been an elaborate internet hoax. Jaime Maussan had a conference recently that included Stephen Greer and a person from the Congress Oversight Committee to cover details of the sphere. A logical person now should be taking this incident very seriously, as they certainly are, and it's very interesting what they discuss.
I am very excited, I am very proud to come to this point in my career where finally I can exhibit an anomalous object in my own perspective is a non-human device. We still have to do more analysis on it. We still have to prove it. Nevertheless, what we have found thus far suggests to me the possibility that it's a non-human device. And if we can prove this scientifically, we've taken a larger step for the acceptance that we are not alone in this universe, that we are being visited, and that we are many of different societies, civilizations that exist out there in the universe. I think the time is now to accept this reality. Congressman Burleson is at the head with Congressman Ana Paulina Luna, the efforts that have a lot of importance at congressional level. Believe me that there are different interests, and this is not easy at all, but we're giving it our best shot as a society, as a human race. And this is the reason why I'm asking the support from different parts of society, different parts of science, so that we can understand this fully. So we're going to start by looking at the videos that make this discovery so important. I personally went to Colombia for these videos. If I wouldn't have met José Arias Restrepo personally, and if he wouldn't told me that he ran towards the sphere and picked it up, I would have never traveled to Colombia. When I realized this, it was obvious that there's an investigation pending there, a great opportunity. This is the video of the sphere that was filmed by Maria Bedoya, who went out to feed her cattle. Can we have sound on the video, please? We got sound on the video? That's the video that she filmed initially. At the distance, we can see the sphere floating through the air, and you can see a green reflection on the top part of the sphere. And this seems to be an important component, and it varies in different colors and tones. A little bit after that, the sphere touched the high-tension voltage cable, and it fell to the ground.
Our team here is to confirm the research doing, to consult about further tests, and to do whatever we can do here. I think for the reason of OPSEC or operational security, it should be in Mexico and not in the United States, frankly, because I operate in the United States and it's very difficult. It's the epicenter of the global security state keeping this secret. Not that there aren't components here, but there it is a problem. So much so that members of Congress are routinely denied information. So I think that the other point is the scientific studies, what we want to do would include looking at certain isotopes that would determine if those metals appeared and were originated off-planet or on-planet. It's very difficult to do, it's expensive, but that's what we're going to try to do. We want to try to carbon date it from the polymer if we can get enough. We want to be able to also advise on certain physics tests that can be done. And the gentleman mentioned spinning it and what have you. We have some ideas about that. One thing to remember, an extraterrestrial device is very different from a manufactured human 21st century. And here's how. They're usually of one part. The components are all seem to be melded together and appear as one, whereas a man-made object is this part, this part, this part. So there are man-made UFOs that are known as alien reproduction vehicles. We have a lot of them. We started making them. My uncle was Northrop Grumman. Lockheed has them, Raytheon. Those are parts and pieces, and they look like a manufactured object. The extraterrestrial vehicles are seamless. They tend to be similar to this. This has some differentiation, and they tend to have the functional components integrated as if it came out of a singular mold. Now, the manufacturing this extraterrestrial involves a type of what's called trans-dimensional physics, where you set up an energy field and it aggregates the materials together and forms it as a whole, as opposed to us digging something up and welding it together in a machine shop. So we know the difference between extraterrestrial, say, manufacturing and 21st century human manufacturing. Now the question is, there have been extraterrestrial involvement with this planet for probably millions of years, certainly for millennia, and is this object from a prior extraterrestrial involvement, or even an ancient civilization that lived here that was perhaps even human or part human that made these? This is why we want to be able to date it. If it's 5,000 years old or 2,000 years old, that's a huge bit of data, because at that point you realize, well, it can't be anything made recently, and therefore how was it made? Because aluminum has I think needs 10,000 degrees to smelt it. We didn't have aluminum till pretty recently, and other components. The other question is looking for various elements that may not be even in our periodic table. So in other words, it could have elements in it, but this is a very, very esoteric level of astro science and physics, where you'd have to employ very specific labs, and the labs receiving it will not know it came from this. So what we're going to do is more like a double-blind situation. The testing laboratories will have no idea the origin of it. But no, the device, I think, should remain here in secure hands. At some point, we do want to figure out the physics of it, because one of my objectives why I left my medical career was when I realized they were keeping this cabal of fascists and sociopaths have been hiding from us, the people, the means to have free energy, no pollution, no poverty within 20 years. And look at the world that we have now. And I'd just like to recognize the courageous people who picked it up and brought it. Now, there have been spheres found before, and in the United States, special forces thugs go in and get them, and people have been killed possessing them. Very smart that you keep it safe and that you also disclose it. It's transparent. Everything goes out. My assessment of this is pending, but it's certainly real. It's using an energy field, and what we probably would say is electrogravitic, which means a type of anti-gravity effect from the electromagnetic forces. And whether it is of purely extraterrestrial origin or a mix of an ancient human extraterrestrial development, there are 4 or 5 possibilities. And this is what we want to look at. If we can get some of the materials and do carbon dating, we can from the polymer, then we will know how old it is. If it predates this kind of manufacture, it'll be extraordinary. So I think there's a lot of investigation. We have some really good scientists here with us who can do those research with you and confirm and help and join forces with your effort. So my own sense of this is that it's obviously real, it's anomalous. We have seen these sort of spheres before, and I just want to share, 2 days ago, we debriefed a Green Beret he was in a subterranean facility, Crane, Indiana. It's a naval weapons station, and this is a top Green Beret, not many years ago. And he was taken underground, very deep, and it was shown several extraterrestrial devices, one of which had a device like a translucent, almost like a small iPad, but extraterrestrial. And it was putting up above that screen a series of letters or symbols, deep ink black. And they are on this sphere, 4 or 5 of them. So it's very unusual. Now this gentleman, he didn't have any association with those symbols until he saw this sphere. And in the interview 2 days ago when we were in Los Angeles, I'm not going to disclose his name right now. His information is going to a investigation law enforcement group in the United States that I'm working with that are looking into the criminal aspects of the secrecy of this. But he said these are exactly the symbols that were floating above this device in the air, about a foot, and that they had some effect in his awareness, and he thought it had something to do with activation of DNA and consciousness, some very unusual effect. So very interesting new testimony. It was very surprising to us, and I wanted to share that with you. And so we're going to continue these investigations, but I think this is a very significant object, and the other gentleman was correct. We have 700 plus whistleblowers and people in the United States now coming forward. We have a lot of evidence. We do have some physical evidence. That wasn't correct. But something like this we have never had, because usually these get confiscated by thugs, criminals. And so good for you. You've done great work, all of you.
We've been blocked from receiving the briefings that we need. So I think that it's long overdue. Look, it's not any government's right to protect any knowledge about extraterrestrial or non-human intelligence if it exists. So we have too many people reporting things. We have too many videos coming out to ignore it. I think I have a responsibility on oversight to investigate it and do my due diligence, and that's why I'm here. And so thank you for hosting this, and I'm looking forward to seeing further scientific discovery.
Any comment about the Buga Sphere?
It's it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the studies come.
Thank you very much.
This case has now been authenticated by members of the U.S., one of which is part of Congress. The next part of this story is extremely interesting. Mr. Greer is seen in the next clip explaining something we haven't heard since the sphere was found, even with all the specialists handling it for testing. Maybe it's just pure coincidence.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm in Mexico City. As many of you know, we've been examining the Buga Sphere for the last 2 days with Congressman Burleson and a group of scientists. We've just been notified by Jaime Maussan that there was an attempt by fake policemen to enter the vault where this Buga Sphere is stored, and we have notified security and the apparatus I'm working with under law enforcement. And you should know that the other risk here is that we have taken specific samples from the Buga Sphere that will be tested in a state-of-the-art lab to prove whether or not the metal, as well as some of the other components, are of Earth or outer space origin. Those scientists' information have been provided to the top law enforcement and security apparatus that I'm working with, and so any sort of attempts to interfere with this examination will be known, and the people and perpetrators will be held to account for. So this is what I wanted people to know, and we're doing everything to set up security for this. Thank you.
The first time we hear of any recognized members of the U.S. following this genre that are in attendance of this conference, that an attempt like this happens. Another interesting thing one can't logically ignore is the member of the House Committee whose facial expression looks terrified in this clip with Mr. Greer reviewing the alien artifacts. I you will be reviewing this case closely and covering more footage as it becomes available.